I still remember the exact moment I realized my life was about to change, because the woman standing in front of me smiled and said, "You won't survive a single night out." Here, and everyone around her nodded, like it was already decided. I'd crossed into her territory by mistake, or at least that's what they claimed. And now I was alone, unarmed, and being judged by someone twice my size and 10 times my reputation. I need you to tell me honestly, before you hear how this ends, would you have tried to prove her wrong? Or would you have begged your way out of it? Let me rewind, because none of this makes sense without context. I grew up as a cowboy, the kind that learned to ride before he could properly read. My world was dust, fences, cattle, and long, silent rides where your thoughts are louder than anything else. The land I worked bordered a stretch of harsh, wild territory that people avoided. Stories followed that land, and more specifically, stories followed her. She was an Apache woman, known across the region for her size, strength, and temper. People called her a giantess, not just because she stood over 7 feet tall, but because she carried herself like nothing in the world could push her aside. I'd heard rumors that she could lift a grown man like a sack of grain, that she hunted alone, and that trespassers never forgot meeting her. The day I met her wasn't planned. One of my horses spooked during a storm and ran. By the time I tracked him, I was exhausted, dehydrated, and standing face to face with her and 3 others from her camp. She looked down at me, calm but dangerous, and asked why I thought I could wander wherever I pleased. I tried to explain, but my words sounded weak even to me. That's when she laughed and said the line that still echoes in my head, that I couldn't handle even her shadow. It wasn't just an insult, it was a challenge, and I could feel every eye waiting to see what I'd do. Instead of throwing me out, she gave me a choice. I could leave immediately, branded a coward in my own mind forever. Or I could stay the night and prove I wasn't as fragile as she thought. No weapons, no special treatment, just me, the land, and whatever came with it. I agreed before I fully understood what that meant. As the sun dropped, the air grew colder, and the silence became heavy. She watched me prepare, said nothing, and that somehow made it worse. I barely slept, every sound making my heart race, wondering if this was all some twisted test or a warning I should have listened to. About halfway through the night, things went wrong. A distant noise turned into movement, and movement turned into danger. I won't spoil exactly what came out of the darkness yet, but I'll say this, it wasn't something I could have handled alone. Fear hit me hard, the kind that locks your muscles and makes you question every decision you've ever made. And right there, in that moment, I realized this wasn't about pride anymore. It was about survival. So, that was the situation I was trapped in. Alone, terrified, and forced to act. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause for a second and really think about it. If you were surrounded by people who expected you to fail, facing something you were never prepared for, would you run, freeze, or fight? Drop your answer in the comments before you hear what I did. What happened next changed how she looked at me forever. I didn't win because I was stronger. I didn't win because I was smarter. I won because I refused to give up when my body was screaming at me to stop. When dawn finally broke, she stood across from me, eyes narrowed, and for the first time there was no mocking in her expression. She admitted I'd earned her respect, something she said very few outsiders ever managed to do. My horse was returned, I was escorted safely back, and word spread faster than I expected. But here's the thing no one talks about. Earning respect like that comes with a price. From that day on, she watched me, tested me, and when trouble started rising between our lands, I found myself pulled back into her world again. And the next challenge she put in front of me was far more dangerous than a single night in the dark. That's a story for another day. If you think I made the right choice by staying instead of running, like this video, if you want to hear what happened next and how deep this situation really went, subscribe so you don't miss the next story. And tell me in the comments, would you have accepted her challenge or walked away? I'll see you in the next one.